I'm Stephanie Lancaster. I'm the project manager for IDT Team 3, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we set out to do, what we have done, and the plan going forward, including our recommendations for the project we've been working on. So I'm going to ask team members questions and let them throw out the ideas and the work that we've done. So the first question is, what were the goals for our project?
Yes, Stephanie, I'll go ahead and take those. My name is Scott Mann. I've been part of the Team 3 project as the lead for instructional design. And our goals for this project, our first main goal was to increase student engagement through navigability of issues in the course. One of the things we noticed in the course was that it wasn't as navigable as we would have liked, to be able to make it easier on the student to navigate various content and assignments. And so that was one of our goals for this project. The second goal was also to support student clarity on major assignments, to kind of allow students more information on the expectations and objectives of major assignments within the course. And our last goal was to promote high-order thinking through varied assessments and tasks. So kind of giving students a little more details on the different tasks in the course and those assessments and the high order as it relates to the syllabus and learning objectives.
That sounds good. So I'd like for us to go in and talk a little bit about how we worked on those different things. Given that the assignment of the project really called for us to provide both evaluative and consultative services for the Health Informatics and Information Management 605 course at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Based on the things we know about instructional design and really specifically based on the needs and wants of the client. So let's talk a little bit about how we achieved each of these goals, starting with increasing student engagement through improving navigability issues.
Yeah, so one of the issues that we found kind of going through the course is that a lot of the objectives were not necessarily linked with the actual modules. And so kind of going through and creating hyperlinks to be able to link those objectives to their corresponding module within the course, and as well as kind of using various instructional technologies to be able to engage students in the course. Some of the recommendations we had was kind of incorporating Google Community and be able to have students be able to communicate with each other through a web-based platform like Google, like Blackboard Collaborate, to be able to do virtual collaborations with their assignments, and be able to have those clearly identified learning objectives in each module. So when a student goes into a particular module, they know exactly the learning objectives that they're trying to meet, and then what type of objectives are also related to those assignments. And so students can be able to go through and be able to look at those for each week and know exactly how that relates to their course objectives.
That sounds good. Go ahead.
Sorry. To support student clarity on major assessments, we redesigned the major assessments for each of those, and we created a rubric so that professors know exactly what they're grading and students know exactly what they're being graded on. So we made 3 different assessment redesigns, and then we also redesigned the rubrics. All 3 rubrics are different so that the client could see different ways of grading. So we use both 4-point rubrics, single-point rubrics, and double-point rubrics in order to help them with their grading. And all of the assessments are now linked to the learning objectives for the course.
Sounds good. And Anisha, will you talk a little bit about the beautiful concept map?
The concept map was designed basically to help the students make a connection between what the learning objectives are for this particular course and to help them to be more engaged in the learning. If a student clearly understands what the objectives are, what it is they are to learn, they're more likely to be successful in their learning. As well, this could potentially help to increase the number of students that are passing the exams that are required for their certifications by using and taking this course. So just helping to provide a clear understanding of what it is for each learning module the students are expected to know, expected to have a clear understanding about, and be able to master by the end of this particular course.
Yes, and that relates really closely to the course overview that was designed in our treatment report. And so can you talk just briefly about how there's columns for that the instructor can use going forward to going into each module.
Yes, of course. We purposefully went through and made sure to kind of match up the a number of objectives that were currently in the course were very extensive, and much of which could be condensed and lessened so that the students could understand and have clarity in actually what is being asked of them to learn. So by going through, kind of breaking down, consolidating all of the learning objectives, and then going through and providing additional opportunities for learning so that it is a more engaging experience for the students. Not just a simple basic, we read, let's discuss, but something to help them to be able to retain the information. As you may know, with learning, we only retain 10% of what we hear, only 20% of what we read. But the more interactivity that we have with lessons, the more the information is retained and the students are able to find it to be more applicable in their learning, in their future endeavors as well, and making the connections with other classes.
Exactly. And the other thing I think that really helps with that is making the course objectives associate with each module and making those really clear and really out front to the learners. And so, Sheila, I was wondering if you'd talk about a little about how in the treatment report or in doing that course overview in the concept map of the course, you had a recommendation that the team was supportive of about breaking those assignments out or spreading them out a little more.
Yeah, it was interesting to go through the course map and to figure out when things were assigned to students and discover that all three major assessments happened in the second half of the class. And I can only imagine what that must feel like. So I thought it would make a lot more sense to move them forward and spread them out. And because some of the assignments didn't depend on the student having any foundational skill that they would get from the course, that could easily be done. So the first major assignment should now start in week 5 instead of week 13 or something.
Sounds good. And finally, Scott, would you share another initiative or a couple of other initiatives related to educational or instructional technology that you have recommended?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, so we was kind of looking through some of the assignments and requirements of the course and kind of see where we can incorporate some instructional technologies and kind of promote student engagement in the course. One of the assignments that stood out was a vendor overview project that was in Module 8. And this can kind of help students learn about the clinical decision support systems within the course. And we thought this would be a great assignment to have as group work and to be able to allow students to work on this assignment in small groups and then be able to post those in some type of virtual online collaborative environment. Some of the technologies that we recommended was Blackboard Collaborate to be able to allow for video recording and audio recording throughout various projects, as well as some technologies such as Zoom, which UT is currently already has a contract with, and some free technologies like Google Community that they can set up a community page for the project and students can be able to share their ideas and collaborate virtually through that platform. A few other projects like Screencast-O-Matic, the students could be able to record and be able to do a video type project similar to what we're doing now, as well as using able to go in and create interactive video projects and be able to do screen shares and be able to embed various different types of formats into that platform as well. And another one that's really good is PeerGrade, and this is a totally free application that the instructor and students can be able to use to be able to leave feedback on their peers in the course, and the instructor can also leave detailed interactive feedback within that platform as well.
Sounds good. Did we leave anything out or anybody want to say anything else before we sign off? Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and say we've really enjoyed working on this project and producing the treatment report and hope that this information is helpful. We are open to helping with the uploads and inserting videos to provide a demo of that type of thing in the future if the client desires that, and or other future communications to get other clarification as needed. So thank you for being our client, and thank you, Dr. T. We appreciate it. This is IDT Team 3 signing off.